up if I go anywhere near him. So let's just leave him, and the police won't do anything because they can't do anything anyway. So, just mentally deranged people fighting mentally deranged people. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think we could do with more of that, to be honest with you. Hello again. Yes, I am wearing the same clothes. That's because I do many of these in a row. By many, I mean 3, because they put them out 3 days in a row. Lovely. Not in a row. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Let's record the screen, shall we? Do-do-do-do. In 3, 2, 1. Bam. Right. The last one, it was, would you rather be able to become invisible at will or become Batman? You get his money as well. Batman. It's not even a question, is it? I mean, he's the coolest guy in the world. He probably doesn't feel like the coolest guy in the world. He probably feels psychotic because he's dressed in a bat suit jumping from rooftops. But he's pretty cool. He's pretty cool to everyone on the outside, isn't he? Mr. Vengeance himself. Whereas Invisible at Will would be great but the only thing that you would do in Invisible at Will is what? Get yourself out of trouble, and what else? And maybe perv on a few people. But as Batman, you can just handle trouble because you're Batman. You can do anything, and you don't need to perv because you're a billionaire and a playboy, and you can go out and actually not just look at things but touch them. So Batman, he's the world's greatest detective. He's just everything that he's like the pinnacle of a man. He's just a bit woo-woo. But so would you be if your parents died at such a young age. All right? If your city was ravaged by crime constantly and it was always in your face and nobody could do anything about it, so would you be. Stop judging this man, this poor man who just wants to beat up the mentally deranged. We all want to do it. We all want to beat up the mentally deranged. We just don't do it because it's frowned upon. But if you put a batsuit on, everybody knows you're mentally deranged as well. And when you're mentally deranged as well, it's like, oh, well, that's okay. Some people sit back and they're like, shouldn't we do something about this? But then you're like, well, no, I don't want to get involved in that because it looks like he's really hurting them. And he's got a lot of gadgets on that belt of his and he's going to fuck me up if I go anywhere near him. So let's just leave him. And the police won't do anything because they can't do anything anyway. So just mentally deranged people fighting mentally deranged people. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think we could do with more of that, to be honest with you. I think there should be more natural selection between the mentally deranged, you know? I think that's what happened in the beginning when we were all cave people. We were there and all of us were mentally deranged, and the ones that managed to beat the other mentally deranged ones all got together and they had sex, and then they created mentally deranged babies. And when they were mentally deranged, that was what they grew up to be. And that's what our society is. It's just all of us in this place, mentally deranged, but nobody else can see it because we're all mentally deranged. And the only other people that can see it is people that are on different spectrums from us. And because they're on different spectrums from us, we see them as the enemy. But we're like, oh, well, they're not quite as good as us. They can't do anything about it. We'll just give them free shit and then hope they shut up. Most of the time they do. Sometimes they don't. And they want to kill as many of us and our mentally deranged side of things that they can. And they do. And then when they get caught, they have no remorse. Because they're like, you did it. You did it to my ancestors and I was doing it to you. And that's where all of that comes from. So, yeah, it was a bit of a rant there. But yeah, Batman. Alright. Would you rather suck off Justin Bieber in front of a live audience and cameras, get a blowjob, handjob in the arse and in the mouth by Bieber behind the scenes? Get a blowjob, handjob, and receive it in the arse. and the mouth. So it's like a... So we're... I feel like behind the scenes, I feel like in front of the cameras and a live audience, it's more of a spectacle. I feel like that's just because Justin can. You know, I feel like he's there just because he can do that, and he's doing that because of some sort of power thing, as if he hasn't got enough power anyway. He probably is worth about £250 million, or dollars or whatever, and I feel like he's doing that just because he wants to shame and embarrass me. Whereas the other one, I received something, a couple of things quite nice, dick in the arse, not for me really, but that is where the prostate is. So hopefully, if we're doing it behind the scenes, it's more of a loving thing, you know? Nobody's going to find out about it, or people might, but certainly not as many people as would find out about it if I was doing it on live telly in front of a massive audience. I feel like I'd be loved more there. I feel like it's for both of us to share, because he's I don't think he's gay. I mean, he's got a wife, so you know, what would he possibly get out of sucking my penis, or giving me a hand job? I mean, get a blowjob and a hand job is a bit weird, a bit weirdly done. You can tell that a child wrote this, because if you wouldn't put a hand job second, because after a blowjob there's no reason to have a hand job. For anybody that knows, there is no reason to have a hand job after you have a blowjob, unless you're mixing them together and you have some sort of skill in doing that. But other than that, it's kind of useless. So yeah, I think behind the scenes, personally, I'd go behind the scenes. Only 28% of people, more people would rather be humiliated than loved. That says a lot about our society now, doesn't it? Says a lot about our society. Yes, it does. Anyway, jerk Levi off, be Levi for one day, or Levy. I don't know who these people are, or this person is. I don't know. I'm going to go safe and just jerk him off, because that would be what. Let's assume 5-10 minutes max, or be in this guy's shoes for a day. I mean, if jerking him off is seen to be just as bad as being him for a day, I feel like being him for a day would be quite bad, especially to someone that I'm, I've said it many times, and it sounds like I'm hiding the fact that I'm actually gay, but I'm not. Although that is what somebody that would be hiding the fact that they were gay would say, isn't it? So I'd just jerk him off, to be honest with you, and let's move on from that before I come too far out of the closet. I don't know who he is, but 34% of people agree with me, and that's it. Would you rather, this is for you guys at home, for whoever watches it, would you rather ride a tricycle with stabilisers to work, school for a year, roller skate to work / school, downhill, with no stoppers? I feel like I've done this one. But if I haven't, who knows anymore? Who knows? This is just one long kind of day for me at the moment. My whole life, it's just kind of one long day. It's just times where I'm conscious and times where I'm not. So you choose. And lovely. I'll see you next time.